Peter Fury just released more information on a conversation between him and the referee that stopped the fight early, and what his perspective is on it, and as well as dropping some subtle clues on the corruption we all kind of know about in boxing. I mean, let's be real. Let's take a look at some of these.
I'm not interested in the politics. I don't want to go there. I know how boxing is. I know what's behind it. And I don't need to speak. The world can comment. They can see how it is. Is a kickboxer really going to be undisputed boxer? I don't think boxing wants it. So obviously the referee is going to have this in his mind.
So he goes into it at the 9:03 mark, but we all know Rico beating Usyk, the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter, the undisputed heavyweight champion. If he lost to a kickboxer, although, albeit what's considered the greatest kickboxer of our time in the heavyweight division, that is a horrible look on boxing. If you have a high-level jiu-jitsu person on the ground, somebody who trains a whole different sport, like even if they train wrestling, which involves groundwork, kickboxing involves boxing, a lot of boxing, but two different martial arts. If you bring a wrestler to a black belt Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy, it's domination. There's no reason to even do it. Like, the jiu-jitsu guy is going to submit him, right? Choke him out, whatever. If you brought him into the wrestler's world and we did fought under wrestling rules, the wrestler is going to win. We're talking about the best versus the best. Heavyweight boxing specifically kind of is probably the one area where just like brute force and physicality could make a difference, which is why we see some of these guys struggle a little bit. They take them, they have no tape on them either of just boxing, so they probably come in all awkward, and they're big dudes. And one other thing I wanted to talk about is I wish it didn't get stopped. It shouldn't have got stopped. It robbed Usyk the opportunity to finish the fight, which he may have done in the 12th round. It robbed Rico the ability to survive and go 12 rounds with the best, and possibly win on points. But then we see that the scorecards, the judges saw it differently than all the viewers saw it anyway. So Usyk still would have escaped with points. This is why I think the stoppage, I know it's hindsight, but was so bad because it just robbed both fighters and the fans. It didn't just rob Usyk, or it didn't just rob Rico of some victory that we thought he was going to get. I mean, we all know how the judges could see things differently for different reasons. All right, next I want to go to what the conversation was between Peter Fury and the referee on the same flight they were on.
Yeah. So I spoke to Mark Lyson at the airport because he was on the same flight. Mm-hmm. So rather than conjecture and conspiracy theories, I approached him about it. Mm-hmm. And I said, why did you stop that fight when it was at the end? Mm-hmm. I said, the bell had sounded. He's on his feet. Usyk throwing punches, but missing. Mm-hmm. Rico throwed one punch back and missed.
So I'd have to go back and look, but he's saying when the punches are being thrown, Usyk didn't really land too many. Rico threw a punch back, intelligently defending himself, showing some fight back. And then he said the bell rang, and why did you stop it after the bell rang?
The bell's gone, and you've jumped in and waved it off, rather than stopping the engagement and sending him back to the corner. So I said, what's happened? He said, Peter, I'd done my best at the time. He said, and I did not hear the bell.
All right, well, there you go. The ref didn't hear the bell. There's the explanation right from the horse's mouth. Anyway, what's next for Usyk? He's 39. He looked a step slower. He came in at the heaviest he's ever came in. They're talking about him fighting Moses Itama next. Him being 39, going against a fast heavyweight like Itama could pose some issues. So he could be, Father Time could be catching up right now. And I think that's a dangerous fight. And honestly, I'd like to see him fight Deontay Wilder just because of how crazy a knockout win from Deontay Wilder would be. Not that I think it would happen, but I want to see it. So, going back to this fight, what do you guys think of the stoppage? I think it's early, but there's a lot of Usyk defenders. There's a lot of people who say it wasn't early. So where are we wrong at for those of us that think it's an early stoppage?